Good morning, Sage Creek Bobcats, and welcome to this episode of The Sage. Clearly, we're in quite a different setting due to the quarantine, but that won't stop us from getting a new episode out to you guys. In this episode, we spoke to some students about their perspectives on the shift to online school. We have an interview with Principal Schuveiller about how Sage Creek is reacting to the quarantine, and we have a tutorial on how to get started with gardening. All that on this episode of The Sage. The closure of school has brought us remote online learning, where teachers have been posting all assignments on Google Classroom, and each teacher has office hours where you can get on a Zoom call and chat about class material, or just catch up. 2 weeks ago on NBC7 News, Sage Creek's online learning was even showcased, showing how our students are adapting to this new learning environment. Chloe Neal brings us some more student perspectives about this change in learning.
Hey Bobcats, it's Chloe. I hope you all are doing well at home right now. Today I'm going to be speaking with Junior Cedric Young and Senior Natalie Hustis about how they've been managing the switch to online school. And you may be noticing, Chloe, why are you in your room right now? Well, that's because we are going to be sticking to the social distancing rules. So, without further ado, let's call up Cedric and Natalie. Hi guys!
Hi Chloe, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well myself.
How has the cancellation of school affected you as a junior?
As a junior, it has affected me in many different ways. Obviously, it's tough not seeing my friends, and also the amazing community at Sage Creek. And also, I kind of miss learning about interesting stuff, like especially physics. I miss having Mr. Feedberg. That would have been fun.
Hi Natalie! How has the cancellation of school affected you as a senior?
Not very well. We still haven't heard of official cancellation of all senior events, but it's pretty sad. I will say, I really hope we have a graduation ceremony and grad night, but it's tough to process. I mean, it is what it is, and people have it a lot worse, but there's still the hope, to have a graduation. And it's just weird because you go to high school to walk across the stage and get your diploma.
Yeah, definitely. I get that. So based off of that, what advice have you given yourself to try and stay positive when thinking about how the future is going to be impacted by this?
I'm thinking that this does allow everyone to slow down, because we all move so fast, and it has been good on the environment and I think on health. And so I'm just trying to value the time and connecting with people online.
Some positive messages I've been giving myself. I've just been trying to tell myself that this will all be over soon, and if everyone cooperates and stays at home, then everything will be okay.
I agree. And can you just describe how your experience was shifting to online school, and if it's been manageable or not so far?
It's been really good. The teachers have given us really well-written directions to help us understand what assignments are due, and the time we get to do these assignments are very reasonable. We get a good 4 days to do all of our work, which is really nice, and I can self-pace too.
I respect all the teachers. I know it's very hard for them. I'm just not an online learner, and being in an environment without people and without being able to be personable with my teachers has been hard for me.
Have you found any helpful strategies to keep your schedule at home seem more structured?
So I try to wake up around 9ish. Sometimes I have not succeeded, but maybe asking my mom to make sure I'm awake. And then I try to run in the morning, but I just try to make sure I don't start my day at 2.
Have you learned any fun skills in the past few weeks?
I've been learning some new things. I've been trying to put together some puzzles on my own time.
Done more things I haven't done. Rollerblading. I rollerblade now.
That's so cool.
It's been cool to do things I don't normally have the time to do.
Lastly, is there any advice that you could give to other Sage Creek students who might possibly be struggling to be productive during this time?
So my fellow Sage Creek students, if you're having a difficult time, try to maintain a positive attitude. The mind is very strong. Go outside every day. You need some fresh air. You can't be cooped up in your house. That is not good for you. And just know that all of this will be over soon, and when it is, we can go back to our normal lives, and that'll be really good.
Thanks so much, Chloe. Now, after those student perspectives, here's Tristin Hoffman with an interview with Principal Schuveiller about CUSD's transition to online education and how COVID-19 will impact academic activities.
Hey Bobcats, I'm Tristin Hoffman. I'm here with Principal Schuveiller. For the first question I have, seniors have expressed concern regarding senior activities such as prom, senior trips, grad night, graduation, and more. Are these events canceled indefinitely?
Right now, everything's just postponed. We're waiting on guidance from the county, the state, to figure out what we can and cannot do. But as we've been in discussions from a management team level in regards to should there be restrictions lifted, should there be an opportunity to have any of these type events, then we definitely want to do that. Okay. The hard part is we're waiting on the state and the county to provide us guidance on when and if we can do these things. But we are actively discussing alternatives, scenarios where we may be able to hold these events in, alternative settings, etc. It's just a matter of when we get the official go-ahead that we can pursue some of these things. Okay. That's when we'll put the action plan into place. But as of right now, everything's just on hold and postponed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think we don't have all the answers yet. We're still waiting on guidance from the California Department of Education. Okay. I think overarching the thing that you can take away is that regardless, the intent is not to punish or harm students, right, for any of this. So as of right now, the answer is no. The classes will not need to be retaken. There's not going to be an extension of the school year into summer or have to make up content going into the summer. That would fall under the kind of the punitive category for students. And that's not the intent behind this. The intent behind this is to continue with this remote online learning the best we can, and get through this final trimester for us. And the idea is, again, not to harm or punish any students for something completely out of their control, while continuing their learning the best that we can in this really sudden shift. For us as a district, Dr. Churchill is meeting regularly with the state and the county superintendent to go over all this information based on their recommendations. Okay. Those recommendations right now essentially leave it up to the local districts to make changes in their policies. And in this case, that would pertain to grading and or graduation requirements. Dr. Churchill will meet with the board. He will review the recommendations, and then they will give us guidance on how to proceed as a school site. Whatever our school site does will be based on the policy that the board decides on. And yes, the answer is they're going to be reviewing all potential grading options, including a pass-fail or credit-no credit system. Okay. They're going to be reviewing the CDE's recommendations in regards to graduation requirements and what does that look like for our local schools here. I anticipate having some more information from our district and kind of some decisions made over the next couple of weeks. But as of right now, nothing's been decided. So it's too premature to say, yes, we're going to move this direction. I would just say that they're reviewing all of the different options out there. And once they've made a decision, we'll go from there and we'll communicate out what are the next steps. We continue to evolve with this and navigate it the best we can, both as a community and individually.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with me, Sage Creek Bobcats. I hope you stay well. This has been Tristin Hoffman reporting for the Sage. Now I'll send it back to Chris.
Thanks for that interview, Tristin. And Mr. Schuveiller, thank you so much for the helpful information. During quarantine, many of us have been feeling bored or lonely, and without being able to go to school every day, there hasn't been much to do. But it is recommended that we try to come out of this quarantine a better person than when we went in. So why not try to develop a new skill with all this extra free time? Personally, I've started learning 3D modeling, but the options are endless. Here's Bella Niems to teach us a little bit about gardening and hopefully inspire you guys to grow something of your own.
Gardening is one of the many activities you can take advantage of during this time. My favorite is growing your own vegetable, herb, and fruit garden. There are so many places to get plants and seeds, such as Home Depot or Lowe's, but if you don't want to leave the house, there's always Amazon. You can choose from so many plants, from strawberries to zucchini to bell peppers to tomatoes. Once you have your seed or plant, you are ready to begin gardening. Today, we are going to be planting peppermint. First, you want to find a place for your plants, whether it be in the ground or a pot. Make sure the dirt is fertile, or go grab some potting soil from your local handy store. After, you want to mix the dirt around to make sure you're bringing up all the possible nutrients. Then, you want to start to dig a hole just big enough for your plant. Then you can grab your plant and take it out of its container. Before planting it, make sure to squeeze the bottom to loosen up the roots so they take to their new environment. Then, you can finally place the plant in the hole and begin to fill the empty space with soil. After reaching the surface, you want to build a small little moat around the plant so that when it is watered, all the moisture sticks. Every other day, you want to water your plants. Early in the morning is better so that the sunlight does not steal their water. To create even healthier plants, you can fertilize once every 2 weeks. After a few days, you should see a lot of growth in your plants, and hopefully they will begin to bud. And very soon after, you will have your very own homegrown produce. Thanks for listening and happy planting. This has been Bella Niems, now sending it back to Chris Kathman.
Thanks, Bella, and thanks for sticking with us on this episode. We know this time has been rough for some of us, but it will get better eventually. In the meantime, keep up with your online schoolwork, teach yourself something new, and make sure to head over to thesagenews.com for news stories coming very soon. And follow @The Sage Publication on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Christopher Kathman reporting for The Sage.